ಶ್ರೀ ಗಣೇಶ ಶಾರದಾ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ಉತ್ತರಂ ಯತ್ ಸಮುದ್ರಸ್ಯ ಹಿಮಾದ್ರೇಶ್ಚೈವ ದಕ್ಷಿಣಂ ವರ್ಷಂ ತದ್ಭಾರತಂ ನಾಮ ಭಾರತಿ ಯತ್ರ ಸಂತತಿಃ. Welcome to all for this session on Skanda Purana to chapter 32 of Kedar Khanda under Maheshwara Khanda. In the previous chapter, we are listening about the greatness of Shivalinga and Kumaraswamy. Lomasha continued. Thus, all the rites pertaining to the worship of Shiva Dharma was narrated by him. O Brahmanas, it was out of the grace that the Pashupata doctrines were explained in detail. In particular, doctrines enshrined in various agamas were declared truthfully in accordance with the principles. The different sects of Kapalikas were described succinctly as well as in detail. Various kinds of holy rites were recounted to Nandi. Then the sages said, the highly auspicious story of Kumara, which was nothing to surpass it, has been completely heard by us. O highly fortunate one, we shall inquire of something more. The narrative of the Leonine king Shveta is wonderfully mysterious. By means of his boundless devotion, Shiva Rudra was then gratified by him. Those who worship Lord Mahashambhu devotedly are great devotees of noble souls. They are experts both in the path of spiritual knowledge, that is gnana, and the religious rites, that is karma. Hence all of us inquire of you about the story of Shankara, as you and none else know everything through the favor of Vyasa. On hearing the words of those sages, Lomasha said, let that wonderful anecdote be listened to, O highly fortunate ones. Even as that king was enjoying all sorts of royal pleasures, the mind of that noble-souled Shveta was directed towards virtue and pity. He protected the subjects righteously and ruled the earth. He was heroic and truthful in speech. He was well versed in the Vedas. He was a constant and faithful devotee of Shiva. That king administered the kingdom in accordance with his capacity. With devotion he always worshipped Shambhu, the great Lord, the supreme being greater than the greatest, the quiescent one, the ancient Lord in the form of supreme spirit. His whole life was spent in worshipping the Supreme Lord. Let the story of this highly fortunate king be listened to. My words cover Shiva's story and are full of wonders. Neither mental agonies nor physical ailments harassed the king. No natural calamity afflicted him. The people were free from all the etis, that is the abnormal calamitous phenomena such as excessive rain or drought, and were devoid of afflicting distress. In the realm of that king, medicinal herbs grew naturally without being cultivated. Ascetics and Brahmanas and common people adhere to the discipline of the four castes, that's actually the four varnas and stages of life, that is the ashramas, four varnas and the four ashramas of life. No one had at any time the misery due to the death of a son. No one was insulted. There were no deadly diseases. No one ever suffered from poverty. Thus a great deal of time passed, even as that noble-souled king successfully engaged himself in the worship of Shiva. O Brahmanas, once Yama sent his messengers to that king who was worshipping Shankara, the bestower of the greatest aim in life, that is salvation. At the instance of Chitragupta, the messengers were deputed and instructed, let Shveta be brought. Thinking that it should be so, the messengers came to the temple of Shiva. Desirous of taking the king away, the messengers of Yama, who had nooses in their hands and were very frightful, came there and looked for the king hurriedly. Then the messengers could not carry out the command of Dharma After knowing this, Yama himself came there. He suddenly lifted up his baton and was desirous of taking the king away. The deity of great arms saw the king engaged in the meditation of Shiva. He was endowed with great devotion to Shiva. He was quiescent and possessed of pure spiritual knowledge. On seeing the king, Yama became highly excited. Immediately, the king of dead ones became excessively agitated and remained motionless as though he was painted in a picture. The deity who in the form of Kala caused perpetual destruction of the subjects came very furiously to that king at that very same instant. He was armed with sword of very sharp edge and a big shield. He, Yama, overwhelmed by fear, was standing at the entrance. Kala spoke to Yama, the son of the sun, that why was this great king not taken away by you, O Dharmaraja, O Yama? Though you are assisted by your messengers, you appear to me to be frightened. Do not delay, O deity of God, holy rites. At my instance, do everything quickly. On being told thus by Kala, Dharma spoke these words befitting the occasion: I shall do according to your command. There is no doubt about it. This devotee of Shiva cannot be tackled by us. Due to fear from the trident bearing Lord, we stand motionless as though painted in a picture. On hearing Yama's words, Kala became infuriated. Hurriedly, he took up the sword, intending to kill the king. As he furiously entered the temple of Shiva, resembling 24 suns, he was seen by Shiva, the Pinaka bearing Lord, who thought, this deity is desirous of killing my devotee, the excellent King Shveta. He is absorbed in his own soul by way of meditation. His mind has become purified by the bright light of pure knowledge. Without any differentiation, he meditates upon his Atman in the form of innermost Atman. He is self luminous. He is greater than the greatest standing in front of him. The king is thinking about the foot of Shiva, who is of the nature of supreme being, the cause of salvation and complete identity in form. Kala was rushing at him and was seen by Sadashiva, the slayer of Kala. The rogue was approaching him undeterred arrogantly. When he was seen midway between himself and Nandikeshwara by Shiva, the Lord of the universe, the affectionate kinsman of devotees, he was stared at with the third eye by the great Lord who wanted to protect his devotee. He became reduced to ash in an instant. He burned Kala, who had many colors, who had opened his mouth very wide, whose form was extremely terrible and frightening, whose sole food was the universe, who was very fierce. He was burned by a series of flames. The groups of devas who had gathered together along with yakshas, gandharvas, pishachas, kukshakas, siddhas, groups of celestial damsels, all the skywalkers, serpents, birds, and the guardians of quarters saw Kala enveloped in flames and stationed in front of Ishvara. The king then regained consciousness and looked again and again at Kala, who had come to kill him and who was then being burnt by fire. Without being excited, he prayed to Rudra, who resembled the fire of Kala. The king said, obeisance to Rudra, the quiescent one, who is the moonlight unto himself, is the creator of himself, who is perpetual and subtle. I bow to the Lord of luminaries. You alone are indeed the Savior, O Lord of the universe. You are the father, mother, friend, and comrade. You alone are the kinsman and relative. You are Ishvara, the Lord of people and of all the world. What has been done by you, O Shambhu? Who is this who has been burnt in front of me? I do not know what has taken place here. What great thing has been carried out, and by whom? On hearing this expression of the pain of that king who was praying thus, Shankara spoke these words, enlightening that king. Rudra said, "This Kala was burnt by me in front of you for your sake. He was seen being burnt and overwhelmed by the great mass of flames. On being told thus by Shambhu, that excellent king became humble before Shiva and spoke these words to him. What misdeed has been conducted by this Kala, O Shambhu? Tell me exactly. O Bhava, what for has he been reduced to this plight, ending with his death? On being requested by him, the Supreme Lord said, O great King, he is one who swallows all living beings. O Lord, it was for the purpose of swallowing you that this cruel one had come near me. Now, hence, O Lord, O great King, he was burned by me. Desiring the welfare of many persons, I have killed him, particularly those who are sinners, those who engage themselves in unrighteous activities, those who cause the annihilation of the world, those who propagate heretic doctrines. All these are to be killed by me. On hearing the words of Rudra, Shveta spoke thus, It is on account of Kala that the whole world always perform meritorious deeds. Some abide by righteous activities, who are endowed with great devotion. Some are engaged in upasanas, the devotional rites, others in the gnaninis, possessors of knowledge. Some practice spiritual pursuits, and some are liberated. Indeed, Kala is the annihilator of all mobile and immobile beings. Similarly, he is the matchless protector too of all. He is the creator as well of the vital air of all living beings. Hence, revive him back to life. If you are intent on creation, resuscitate Kala quickly. If you are inclined to annihilate all living beings, then revive him. Give this work, O Shambhu, to the noble souled Kala. Without Kala, nothing will take place, O Shankara. On being requested thus by that valorous king, Shambhu carried out his suggestion. He did what his devotee desired by him to do. Shambhu, the great Pinaka bearing lord, resuscitated him and made his form as it had been before. He was then fixed by him in his place in the middle of the messengers of Yama. Approaching the Lord with shyness, he, the Kala, eulogized the bull bear Lord. After bowing down to the fire station in front, this Kala spoke these words in great dismay. O slayer of Kala, O Lord of Tripura, O destroyer of the three Puras, indeed Madana was made Ananga by you, O Lord of universe. A very wonderful feat was performed by you in destroying the sacrifice of Daksha. Kalakuta, the poison unbearable to everyone, the great poison that caused destruction of all, was swallowed by you. O Shambhu, as it was unbearable to all, the whole range of the three worlds was pervaded in the form of Linga by the great Lord. It is called Linga by all the Suras and Asuras because it absorbs the world within it. Devas with Brahma and Vishnu at their head do not know its limits and extremities. They do not know the greatness of the Linga as well as the great Lord of Devas. Hail to you, the Supreme Lord, obeisance to you, O cause of auspiciousness of the universe. I bow to you, the blue-throated one. I salute that Lord with matted hair. Repeated obeisance to you, the cause of causes. Salutations to you, the auspicious soul of all auspicious things. Obeisance to the Lord in the form of knowledge of all the learned ones conversant with knowledge. You are the primordial God, you are the ancient Purusha. You are everything, O soul kinsman of the universe. You can be comprehended only through the Vedantas. You are of exalted magnanimity. You are worthy of being glorified by all magnanimous persons. You alone are honored by the whole universe, O Lord of the universe. You protect, you annihilate all the three worlds. O great Lord, you are the Creator, you and none else are the Lord of all living beings. Thus the Lord of the universe was eulogized by Kala. Kala then said to King Shveta, enlightening him as it were, Kala said, in the whole of the mortal world there is no one greater than you, by whom the Lord, who is invincible in all the three worlds, has been conquered. This universe of the mobile and immobile beings has been killed by me. I am the conqueror of all the devas. I cannot be transgressed by anyone. I have now become your follower, O great king. Grant me protection from fear of the trident bearing Parameshti, the lord of the devas. On being addressed thus by Kala, Shveta laughingly spoke in a voice as majestic as the sound of clouds. The king said, there is no doubt about this that you are the greatest form of Shiva. You are Kala in the form of sustenance and annihilation of all living beings. Hence, you are the most adorable of all. You are the controller of all. It is on account of their fear of you that all those who perform rites seek refuge in Parameshwara with various emotional feelings, desirous of dedicating themselves. Suta said, Kala, who was thus saved by the excessively righteous king, regained consciousness by the grace of Shiva alone. The Lord was eulogized by Yama in the company of Mrityu, the messengers of Yama. After bowing down and praising Shiva and the king Shveta, Kala went to his abode. O Brahmanas, he considered himself to be born once again. In the company of his wife Maya, he frequently recollected the great story of Shiva and became surprised more and more. He said to all the messengers himself, O messengers, let my words be heard quickly. What I suggest in my speech should be carried out scrupulously. It should not be otherwise. Kala gave the instructions, the following persons should never be brought to my region. Those who apply tripundra upon their forehead, those who have matted hairs, those who wear Rudraksha, those who are called by the name of Shiva, those who assume the guise of men of Shiva cult either for the sake of livelihood or out of fear, even men who have committed sins or practiced evil conduct, if they are wearing Shiva garments, all these should never be brought to my region by you. They should be scrupulously avoided even if they are always sinful. That then about others, O messengers, others who worship Sadashiva Shambhu with great devotion, they are undoubtedly Rudra themselves. He who wears even a single Rudraksha on his head and the Tripundra mark in the middle of the forehead, the good persons who repeat the 5-syllabled mantra, these are to be honored by you all and never otherwise. The nation, the country, or the village where no wise devotee of Shiva is seen, it is different from a cremation ground. They may call that nation Rashtra or Desha, a small place. I speak the truth unto you. The persons in that village, they where there exist no persons who practice devotional rites of Shiva, should be chastised well. Thus Yama commanded his servants, thinking that it should be so. They remained quiet on being much surprised. Such is the Sadashiva, the whole sole Lord of the world, the Father of the world. He is one and only one. He is the bestower and the chastiser, possessor of his supreme powers, bhava, emotional feelings. He is eternal, the sole kinsman of the universe. After burning Kala, Lord Mahadeva granted freedom from fear to Shveta, the king of kings, the most excellent one among the rulers of the earth. Having attained freedom from fear, the lofty minded King Shveta resolved to strive for salvation, and by means of supreme devotion became liberated. On being honored by devas, sages, and serpents, this Shveta, the most excellent one among kings, attained Sayujya, means identity with Shiva. Thus, Siddhi, the liberation, is within the palm, that is, within the reach of those persons who are devoted to Mahesha, the Father of the universe. I am speaking the truth unto you. Even a Chandala can become an excellent man by the favor of Shankara. Hence, Shankara should be worshipped with all efforts. It is only after the end of many births that devotion to Shiva is born in Gnanis with great intellect. Shankara should be worshipped in every birth. Of what avail is too much talk on my part? Sadashiva should be worshipped. In this context, they cite this ancient mythological legend in regard to the wonderful holy rite performed by Kirata, the forester, by whom the whole universe consisting of mobile and immobile beings are redeemed. Thus ended chapter 32 of Kedar Khanda in Maheshwara Khanda under Skanda Purana. Namaste Sharada Devi Kashmira Puravasini Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.